on the kindergarten education program. So this afternoon, we are going to discuss about the grades 1 to 3 and of course the grades 4 to 6 program or the elementary education program in the Philippines. So for grades 1 to 3 program, the grades 1 to 3 program serves as a springboard for formal schooling. This is where learners are initially exposed to learning areas taught in separate blocks of time. The learners in grade 1 are generally 6 years old, while those in grade 2 are 7 years old. Grade 3 learners are usually 8 years old. But of course, hindi naman po yan naka-box dyan. Hindi naman yan, pag sinabi mong grade 1 talagang 6 years old. Meron namang mga na-late na mga nag-aral, so definitely maaari yung 7 or above, ganun din ang grade 2 at saka grade 3. Pero nandun pa rin sila sa grades 1 to 3 program dahil hindi naman sila pwedeng lumukso ng kanilang grade level na pupuntahan. So ano-ano ang mga learning areas sa grades 1 to 3 program? In grades 1 and 2, there are 7 learning areas, namely the mother tongue, Filipino, English, mathematics, araling panlipunan, music, art, physical education and health o yung tinatawag nating MAPE, and edukasyon sa pagpapakatao or ESP. In grades 1 and 2, science is not included. The learning areas in grade 3 are the same as the learning areas in grades 1 and 2. However, in grade 3, science is already included as a separate learning areas. Kaya doon po sa grades 1 and 2, parang naka-integrate lang yung pag-aaral ng science sa curriculum. Pero dito po sa dito po sa grade 3, talaga pong nandun na siya sa curriculum natin. Though science is not taught as a separate learning areas in grades 1 and 2, science concepts are integrated in the other learning areas. So yun na nga po ang sinasabi ko. Naka-integrate siya sa ibang mga learning areas. All learning areas have a curriculum guide with program standards, learning area standards, course description, and key stage standards from grades 1 to 3. So kaya yung mga teacher natin, meron po silang sinusundan. Ito po yung curriculum guide. Additionally, the CGs also articulate grade level standards and content standards and performance standards for each teacher natin quarter. So makikita niyo po yan sa CG, natatag nila kung ano ang mga particular na the CGs also articulate level of standards at saka yung content standards at performance standards sa teacher natin. Kaya ngayon na sinasabi na hindi masyadong mahirap ba ang teacher ang mga particular paggawa ng mga preparation niya sa loob ng classroom kasi kahit si DepEd ay nagdi-devise ng mga panuntunan how to ease the burden of the teachers sa classroom. And meron na rin po si teacher na mga preparation na galing kay DepEd na kung saan execution na lang ang kailangan. Halimbawa sa Bicol region, meron na prototype kung saan i-execute na lang ng ating pong mga teachers yung kanila pong ipinagawang lesson plan sa iba't ibang mga division ng Bicol region. The curriculum guide for the learning areas is anchored on a conceptual framework for the teaching of the curriculum guides. Each conceptual framework contains the goals of teaching the subject and the teaching methods and approaches. This is presented with a schematic diagram and an accompanying write-up in the curriculum guides for each learning area. So Table 1.2 provides a summary description of each learning area in 1 to 3. So let's see the grades 1 to 3 curriculum in Table 1.2. Okay, so this is the different learning areas, and of course sa grade level ano ba ang tinututukan o ano ba ang focus ng grade 1, ng grade 2, ng grade 3. Kaya makikita natin yan sa description ng subject. So for example, in mother tongue for grade 1 mother tongue, This subject covers basic communication skills in mother tongue. Learners are able to talk about familiar topics using simple words, use both verbal and non-verbal cues to understand spoken language, understand basic vocabulary and language structures, the reading process and the writing system, and appreciate aspects of one's culture. So yun yung sa grade 1 ng mother tongue. Kaya pag tinignan ninyo ang mother tongue sa grade 1, hindi siya masyadong komplikado, pero makikita nyo na nandoon na yung basic na kailangan ng bata para ma-appreciate niya yung kanyang kultura and of course matutunan niya yung pinaka-importanting kontribusyon ng kanilang kultura, which is the language. Para naman sa grade 2, this subject covers further development of communication skills, which is nandun na siya sa grade 1. So yan po ang kahalagahan ng spiral curriculum. Yung nandun sa grade 1, bibit-bitin pa rin dito sa grade 2. Learners are able to talk about a variety of topics using developing vocabulary and simple phrases and sentences, understand simple to complex spoken language using both the verbal and the non-verbal cues, understanding vocabularies and language structures, appreciate and understand the cultural aspects of the language and the writing. So, pag tinignan ninyo, paraan niya, sir, repetition rin lang naman ng meron sa grade 1. Oh, 'di ba? Kasi nandiyan pa rin yung appreciation and understanding of the cultural aspects and the writing system, and reads and writes simple and short literary and informational text. So, hindi pa rin po natatanggal yung minimithi nung nasa grade 1 ng mother tongue dahil bahagi po siya ng isang papalawak na pagkatuto. Kasi yan ang pinaka-core ng ng spiral curriculum setup. Pagdating sa grade 3, the subject covers further development of communication skills. So nandoon pa rin po yung pinaka-aim. And then learners are able to talk about a variety of topics using the expanding vocabulary and phrases, show understanding of spoken language in different contexts using both the verbal and non-verbal cues, understand vocabulary and language structures and cultural aspects of the language, and read and write literary and informational text. So, tumataas lang po ang level, pero hindi nagkakawala, hindi nawawala yung pa rin na mithiin para sa particular na subject area or learning area. Filipino tayo. Pagdating sa Filipino, this subject covers pasalita at di pasalitang paraan ng pagpapahayag. So, di ba, pag sinabi nating pasalita, yan yung mga verbal and the non-verbal cues. O, meron pa rin pong mga verbal saka non-verbal cues doon sa doon sa Filipino, which is, sabi mo, parang topic na rin siya doon sa mother tongue. Pero syempre dito, ang focus na ay sa Filipino, hindi yung mother tongue language. Pagtugon ng naaayon at mabuting pagbasa at pagsulat upang maipahayag at maiugnay ang sariling ideya, damdamin at karanasan sa mga narinig at nabasang mga teksto ayon sa kanilang antas o level at kaugnay ng kanilang kultura. So pag grade 2, these subjects again, pangunahing diwa ng tekstong binasa o napakinggan, paggamit ng mga kaalaman sa wika, pagbasa ng may wastong paglilipon ng mga salita, maayos na pagsulat upang maipahayag at maiugnay ang sariling ideya, damdamin at karanasan sa mga narinig at nabasang mga teksto ayon sa kanilang antas o level. So, kaya po makikita nyo dyan na hindi naman sa natanggal or tinanggal yung yung Filipino sa ano to sa grade 2 na parang wala na niya yung iba na pinataas lamang po, pina-improve para lalo pong maunawaan yung pagkatuto ng mga bata sa level na grade 2. So pagbasa ng wastong paglilipon ng mga salita, maayos na pagsulat upang maipahayag at maiugnay ang sariling ideya, damdamin at karanasan sa mga narinig at nabasang mga teksto ayon sa kanilang antas o level at kaugnayan ng kanilang kultura. So makikita po natin dyan na hindi pa rin nawala, hindi pa rin nagbago yung naisin ng grade 2, kundi pinalawak lamang po yung yung pagkatuto doon sa grade 1. Kaya nung grade 1, lumawak lamang yung natutunan ng bata doon sa grade 1. Ngayon, nandun na siya sa grade 2. So lumawak lang yung kanyang kaalaman, pero hindi nagbawas. Pag grade 3 discovers, pangunahing diwa ng mga tekstong binasa o napakinggan, pagbibigay ng kaugnayan o katumbas na teksto, paggamit ng mga kaalaman sa wika, pagbasa ng may wastong palipon ng mga salita at maayos na nakasulat, gamit ang iba't ibang bahagi ng pananalita upang maipahayag at maiugnay ang sariling ideya, damdamin at karanasan sa mga narinig at nabasang mga teksto ayon sa kanilang antas o level at kaugnay ng kanilang kultura. So, lumawak po ng lumawak, pero yung basic, yung nandoon sa grade 1, nandun pa rin po sa grade 2 at grade 3. Medyo lumawak lang po yung kaalaman ng bata patungkol sa asignaturang Filipino. English po tayo. Sa grade 1, ang English ay ino-offer siya second semester na. Hindi po siya ino-offer pagka grade 1 na first grading tsaka second grading. So ino-offer na po siya third grading or second quarter ng grade 1. So yung grade 1 ng first quarter, wala silang English subject na offer. Pero ang English subject po, the subject covers listening for comprehension. So yung mga elementary, speaking clearly and use of appropriate expressions in talking about oneself, family, and other social context interaction. So yun po yung sa grade 1 English. Then pag grade 2, the subject covers listening critically to 1 to 2 paragraphs, the use of appropriate expressions in varied situations, reading of text for pleasure, and information critically in meaningful thought units, responding properly to environmental prints like signs, posters, commands, and requests, and writing legibly simple sentences and basic messages in cursive form. So, sa grade 2, nagsisimula na pong magsulat in English ng naka-cursive or yung dugtong-dugtong. Diba? Noon, ang cursive ay nagsisimula grade 3. Kaya meron tayong writing notebook, writing pad para sa grade 3. Pero dito, nagsisimula ng mag-cursive ng grade 2 sa English. The subject covers listening critically to get information from text heard, independence in using the basic language structure in all, and reading with comprehension. So, yan po yung mga sa grade 1 to 3 na English. How about science? Sa grade 1, ang science ay hindi pa siya separate subject, but the subject is integrated in other learning areas na kung saan yung bata kahit grade 1, meron pa rin siyang makukuhang kaalaman patungkol sa asignaturang science. The subject focuses on the use of senses to locate and describe the external parts of their body. Kaya kahit yan po grade 1, meron pa rin silang identification of the body cells to identify external parts of animals and plants, to tell the shape, color, texture, taste, and size of things around them, to describe similarities and differences given to two objects, to differentiate sounds produced by animals, vehicles, and musical instruments, to illustrate how things move, describe the weather, and what to do in different situations, to use appropriate terms or vocabulary to describe these features, to collect, sort, count, draw, take things out of the things, to practice healthy habits. Example, washing hands properly, choosing nutritious food and safety measures. Example, helping to clean or pack away toys, asking questions and giving simple answers or descriptions to probing questions. So yan po ang sa grade 1 science. Hindi po siya separate learning area, pero naka-integrate po siya sa ibang mga subject. In grade 2, the subject focuses on the use of the senses to explore, describe, and functions of their senses. Compare two or more objects using two or more properties, sort things in different ways, and give a reason for doing so. Certain events in the home or school and express these things are affecting them. To do simple measurements of length, tell why some things around them are important, decide if what they do is safe or dangerous, give suggestions on how to prevent accidents at home, practice electricity, water, and paper conservation, help take care of pets or animals, and tell short stories about what they do, what they have seen, or what they feel. The subject focuses on the functions of the different parts of the body. Grade 3 na po tayo. And things like rocks and soil, plants and animals, the sun, the moon, and the stars. The focus is also on classification of things as solid, liquid, or gas, how objects move and what makes them move, sources and uses of light, heat, sound, and electricity, and changes in the conditions of their surroundings. This would lead learners to become more curious about their surroundings, appreciate nature, and practice health and safety measures. So, yan po yung science sa grade 1 to 3. In grade 1 and 2, it is not a separate subject, but in grade 3, it's a separate subject. It is integrated in other subjects, while in grade 3, it's a separate learning area or subject. How about mathematics? For grade 1, the mathematics, the subject covers key concepts and skills involving numbers and number sense. Whole numbers up to 100. O, yan po sa grade 1. Kaya ini-expect natin na ang mga grade 1 learners ay alam na ang pagbibilang from 1 to 100. Ordinal numbers up to 10, money up to 100 pesos, addition and subtraction of whole numbers and fractions 1/2 and 1/4. Geometry, 2 and 3 dimensional objects, patterns and algebra, continuous and repeating patterns and double sentences, measurement like time, non-standard measures of length, mass, and capacity, and statistics and probabilities like tables, pictographs, and outcomes as applied using appropriate technology involving reasoning, communicating, making connections, representations, and decisions in real life. So, makikita po natin, parang naman anyang napakahirap na grade 1 pa lang. Di of course, sabi nga natin dun sa kindergarten, developmentally appropriate materials din ang ibibigay natin sa mga grade 1 teacher kahit nag-algebra na sila, nag-statistics. So ang ibibigay naman natin, that which is appropriate to their age level and to their grade level. So hindi mo naman sila pwedeng bigyan ng napakatataas na kung saan grade 1 pa lang. So ibabase pa rin natin yan sa level ng kanilang pagkatuto. How about in grade 2? The subject covers key concepts and skills involving numbers up to 1,000. So from 100 in grade 1, this time up to 1,000. Ordinal numbers up to 20th. Money up to 100 pesos. The 4 fundamental operations of whole numbers and unit fractions. So, pagdating naman sa geometry, basic shapes, symmetry, and tessellations. Patterns and algebra, continuous and repeating patterns and number sentences. Measurement, time, length, mass, and capacity. And statistics and probability for tables, pictographs, and outcomes. As applied using appropriate technology in critical thinking, problem solving, reasoning, communicating, making connections, representations, and decisions in real life. So yan po ang mga sa grade 2. So medyo tumataas lang, di ba? Let's see what is the offering. So in grade 3, the subject covers key concepts and skills involving numbers and number sense, whole numbers up to 10,000. So 100 in grade 1, 1,000 in grade 2, 10,000 in grade 3. Ordinal numbers up to 100, money up to 1,000. The 4 fundamental operations of whole numbers, proper and improper fractions, and similar, dissimilar, and equivalent fractions. Geometry on lines, symmetry, and tessellations, patterns and algebra, continuous and repeating patterns and number sentences. For measurement, we also have conversion of time, length, mass, and capacity, area of square and rectangle, and statistics and probables, bar graphs, and outcomes as applied using appropriate technology. Gusto mo, dapat yumaman, dapat marunong kang magkwenta ng iyong kayamanan. But anyway, yan po ay isa sa aking mga Waterloo sa buhay ay ang pagkatuto sa asignaturang mathematics. Pero syempre, habi nga niyan, hindi mo naman pwedeng i-skip ang mathematics para makagraduate ka, dapat kukunin mo pa rin. O kaya, yung iba, nahihirapan dyan. Yung iba, talagang nag-i-enjoy. Yung ating mga nagtapos ng engineering, yung nagtapos ng mga business courses, may mga embedded na mathematics subjects, maganda ang naging appreciation nila. But congratulations to that. And yung iba naman ay nahihirapan, katulad ko, ng pagbikwenta at pag-aanalisa ng mga numero. Pero sabi nga niyan, doon ka naman lang bumawi sa iba. Pag nahirapan ka doon sa isa, doon ka naman sa iba. And things work together for good naman. Aling panlipunan sa grade 1 to 3. Habi sa grade 1, the subject covers the following: kamalayan at pag-unawa sa sarili bilang kasapi ng pamilya at paaralan, at pagpapahalaga sa kapaligiran pisikal gamit ang konsepto ng pagpapatuloy at pagbabago, interaksyon, distansya at direksyon tungo sa pagkakakilanlan bilang individual na kasapi at pangkat ng lipunan at komunidad. O di ba? Bata pa lang, ini-immerse na natin sila na sa community, hindi sila nag-iisa. Bahagi sila ng malaking komunidad kung saan kinakailangan nilang unawain, kinakailangan nilang alin dahil sila ay bahagi noon. So, nag-i-interact siya, nakikisalamuha siya sa community na kanyang ginagalawan. Kaya, pinapaalam natin sa mga mag-aaral natin na sa ganyang edad pa lang, grade 1, ay meron na tayong role na ginagampanan bilang isang mamamayan. How about in grade 2? Ano naman ang ninanais ng asignaturang aral pan? The subject covers kamalayan, pag-unawa at pagpapahalaga sa kasalukuyan at nakaraan ng kinabibilangang komunidad. Tingnan natin, hindi na lang siya doon bilang isang kasapi ng pamilya, kundi pati na rin yung komunidad gamit ang konsepto ng pagpapatuloy at pagbabago, kapangyarihan, pamumuno at pananagutan, pangangailangan at kagustuhan, pang-economics na yan, pagkakakilanlan, mga simpleng konseptong geographical tulad ng lokasyon at pinagkukunang yaman at ng mga saksi ng kasaysayan, oral at mga labi ng kasaysayan. So, parang napakagandang malaman, grade 2 pa lang ay meron ka ng kontribusyon doon sa pagpapaganda ng kaul sa mga sa kinabibilangan mong komunidad. Diba, napakagandang baybayin ang mga araling ito sa iba't ibang asignatura sa grade 1 to 3. Grade 3, ang aral pan, the subject covers malawak na pag-unawa at pagpapahalaga ng mga komunidad ng Pilipinas bilang bahagi ng mga lalawigan at rehiyon ng bansa, pisikal, kultura, kabuhayan at politikal, gamit ang malalim na konsepto ng pagpapatuloy at pagbabago, interaksyon ng tao at kapaligirang pisikal at sosyal. Sa music naman po, pag grade 1 music, the subject covers the fundamental processes in music are through performing, creating, listening, observing, and responding. So yan lang po ang mga simpleng tatandaan ng grade 1 na yan, performing. Kaya yung mga grade 1 teacher natin, it would be grade 1 teachers. Huwag nating ililimit yung mga kabataan na hindi pa nila yan kaya. Tandaan po natin na they can already perform, they can already create, listen, and observe and respond. Sa grade 2, the subject covers the fundamental processes in music and art through performing, creating, listening, and observing, and responding. The subject covers the basic and fundamental processes through performing, creating, listening, and observing, and responding toward the development of appreciation of music and art as the acquisition of basic knowledge and skills. In arts, the subject covers the fundamental of performing, creating, listening, and observing, and responding sa grade 1 yan. Pag grade 2, halos wala rin namang pinagkaiba. The subject covers basic and fundamental processes in music through performing, creating, listening, and observing, and responding. While in grade 3, the subject covers basic and fundamental processes through listening and observing, and responding toward the development of appreciation of music and art, and the acquisition of basic knowledge and skills. So yan po ang sa arts. Sa physical education naman po, yung mga PE teacher natin and would be PE teacher, sa grade 1, it covers singing games, action songs, simple games, particularly chasing, fleeing type games, and mimetics. Di po ba parang, napakasimple, mga habulan, takbuhan, pero pag nilagyan po kasi natin yan ng guidelines, ng rules, ng patterns, mas lalo po yan napapaganda. Kaya yung teacher, alam nila kung paano yan i-execute sa classroom. And tingnan nyo naman, pag nasa nasa classroom kayo, makikita nyo how beautiful ang how beautiful ang pagkakagawa ng mga ng mga PE teachers ng mga activity patungkol sa physical. Grade 2, the subject covers activities in different locomotor, non-locomotor, and manipulative activities, folk dances, rhythmic routines, ribbon, hoop, balls, indigenous, improvised, and races. Naalala ko when I was in grade 2, ginagawa ito ng mga teacher natin. Pinapaglaro tayo, may mga rhythmic activities, rhythmic routine. Parang nakaka inganya ng mga body movements and etc. So, yan po ay sa grade 2. Pagdating sa grade 3, challenging activities in different locomotor, non-locomotor, and manipulative activities. Simple folk dance, rhythmic routines, ribbon, hoop, balls, etc. Lead up and organized games, indigenous and corrective exercises. Yan po ang sa grade 3 physical education natin. Pagdating po, it is just but one subject area, yung music, arts, PE, and health. Pero papansinin po natin, although pinagsama-sama siya, meron po siyang mga separate description kung ano ang mga mithiin sa kada subject area at learning area na kasama sa isang component. For health, the subject covers the essential concepts related to nutrition and personal health, as well as knowledge in injury prevention, safety, and first aid as factors in facilitating the development of healthy habits and practices among individuals. The subject covers personal health, family health, the prevention and control of diseases and disorders, as well as injury prevention, safety, and first aid, which are factors that facilitate the development of healthy habits and practices. So yan ang pang-grade 2. Parang napakaganda, madali nang maging isang medical practitioner pag nakapag-aral ka ng health, kahit sa simpleng grade 1, grade 2, grade 3 lang. The subject for grade 3 covers nutrition, prevention and control of diseases and disorders, consumer health, and community and environmental health factors that facilitate the development of healthy habits and practices. So, grade 3, ganyan po ang mga mga matututunan pagdating sa health mula grade 1 hanggang grade 3. Dito na tayo sa edukasyon sa pagpapakatao. Naalala nyo noon, ang subject natin ito ay values education. So ngayon sa bagong curriculum, tinatawag siyang edukasyon sa pagpapakatao. Sa grade 1, unawa sa mga paraan ng paggalang sa sarili, kapwa, bansa at Diyos bilang gabay tungo sa maayos at masayang tahanan at paaralan. Pagdating po naman sa grade 2, the subject covers pag-unawa sa pagpapakita ng mga kilos na nagpapahalaga sa sarili, kapwa, bansa, Diyos at sa kanyang mga nilikha bilang patnubay sa maayos at masayang paaralan at pamayanan. Samantalang sa grade 3, the subject covers pag-unawa sa mga gawain na nagpapakita ng pagpapahalaga tungo sa maayos at masayang pamumuhay na may mapanagutang pagkilos at pagpapasaya o pagpapasya para sa sarili, sa kapwa, sa pamayanan, sa bansa at sa Diyos. So, tingnan ninyo ang ating pong edukasyon sa makikita nyo na hindi lang sarili yung kanyang dapat na pahalagahan. Papahalagahan din niya yung iba, yung kanyang kapwa, yung kanyang bansa, maging ang kanyang pagtanaw ng malugod sa Diyos na may likha sa kanya. So itinuturo din po yan sa edukasyon sa pagpapakatao. Okay, ito po ang time allotment naman na meron sa grade 1 to 3. So tingnan po ninyo ang mga learning area na mother tongue, Filipino, English, Science, Mathematics, Aral Pan, MAPE, ESP. Sa first semester ng grade 1, makikita nyo ang ino-offer lang mother tongue, that is 50 minutes sa first sem. Filipino 30 minutes. Sabi ko sa inyo kanina, wala pong English sa first semester. Pagkatapos yung science, wala pa sa grade 1, saka sa mathematics 50 minutes, aral pan 40, MAPI 40, ESP 30. Pare-pareho po yan sa lahat ng subject area at sa lahat ng grade level ang loading ng mga subjects. Yun nga lang po, wala pang English at Science sa grade 1, walang Science sa grade 2, wala pang Science sa grade 2. Yan. At saka yung grade 3 ay 50 minutes na. Kaya pag pinansin po ninyo, total na minutes sa grade 1 first SEM, 240 or divided by 60 minutes nyo yan, total hours lang yan ay 4 hours. So, ibig sabihin, kung pumasok ang bata ng 7:30 in the morning, 7:30, di ba? Pag nag-11:30, naka-4 na oras na yung ating grade 1. So, ang iba, pinapatagal hanggang panghapon, tapos binubugbog ng mga remedial instruction. Paano yan magre-remedial? Di pa nga nagsisimula, i-remediate na. Dapat pag-isipan natin yung mabuti kasi yung learning span din ng mga grade 1 ay hindi pa ganun kahaba compared ng mga higher grades. Pagdating ng second semester, meron ng 270 minutes or that will consume 4.50, 4 hours and 50 minutes. So, hindi rin yan pa 5 oras. Kaya, ang ating pong mga schools, ang ating pong mga school heads at ang ating mga teacher, I'm encouraging you to plot the loads so that you can be able to do it na naka-distribute siya or naka-umaga lang yung mga bata o di kaya naman ay hapon pero maikling oras lang ang gugugulin nila sa kanilang mga classrooms. As stipulated in DepEd order, the time allotment for each subject is the minimum period for class interaction. When we say minimum period, so pwede naman kang magdagdag, but again, tandaan po natin, the learning time can be extended to include off-school learning experiences at home or in the community for transfer of learning to real life in the curriculum. Likewise, schools are encouraged to apportion time for arrival and assembly, library works, learning stations, reading and play exercises, lunch and recess, remediation, and other related tasks. So, pwede po siyang ipasok natin. Kaya yan yung minimum and still can be added. Kaya yung sabi ko sa inyo, pag nag-remediate kayo, doon naman kayo sa mga na-discuss na tapos hindi pa rin nakuha ng bata, that's where the time you can introduce remedial instruction. Pero yung nagsisimula pa lang, wag na muna. Let us give these children the benefit na makatuto sila ng mga lesson. And then pag hindi talaga, that's where the time na pwede natin nang i-include ang mga remedial instruction. Learning stations provide for grades 1 to 3 students to investigate further any topic from any learning area with minimum supervision from the teacher. The stations may be practice, enrichment, interest, or exploration. So pwedeng may reading station kayo, may math station, etc. na makakadagdag sa mga pwedeng interactive materials ng mga bata. Pero ngayong panahon, we believe na imposible ito. Pero pag nag-restore at meron na tayong face-to-face, you can do that, or pwede namang gawin nyo sa inyong mga bahay, maglagay kayo ng small spaces for reading, small spaces as if nasa classroom pa rin siya, nang sa ganun ay hindi siya ma-detach sa actual na classroom setup. Learners are provided hands-on activities on topics from the week's lesson, which may be accomplished individually, with a partner, or in a small group. The activities that learners may perform at the learning stations are explained by the teacher at the beginning of each week. In addition to the activities shown in Table 1.3, grades 1 to 3 classes shall have one 40-minute session allotted per week for homeroom. So, hindi pwedeng hindi nagpapamiting si teacher sa grade 1 to 3. dapat may 40 minutes kayong allotment for homeroom meeting, nang sa ganun nakakapagbigay ng feedback sa ating pong mga parents patungkol sa performance ng kanilang mga anak. Co-curricular activities, which are an extension of formal learning experiences, are provided to tap into and enrich the varied intelligences and skills of the learners. These come in the form of clubs, which are scheduled twice a month at 30 minutes per session, various contests as the National School Press Conference and the National Festival of Talents held annually by the DepEd also provide avenues to showcase the wide array of learners' aptitudes. The medium of teaching and learning for this stage of the basic education program observes the transition from the dominance of the mother tongue, which is used from kindergarten of grade 1, to the accommodation of both Filipino and English, which are used in the second and third quarters of grade 1 respectively until the end of the program. So, yan, may transition na din yung papunta sa mas mataas na level ng pagkatuto ng mga bata. Ano sa kindergarten to grade 3? So, pwede kayong gumawa ng mga tinatawag natin na formative assessment. Yan yung regular na ginagawa natin, like quizzes, formative assessment yan. Although hindi lahat po ng assessment ay nakabase sa written like quiz, pwede pong performance task yan, pwedeng written works. Then, in between mga classes natin, pwede kayong magbigay ng formative assessment doon. Then after that, magbigay naman kayo ng summative assessment, which is used to measure whether learners have met the content and performance standards. So yun yung purpose ng summative assessment. Samantalang yung formative assessment, ongoing process lang siya of providing learners with immediate feedback on how well they are learning. So at the end of grade 3, learners will be assessed through a national assessment. Yun na po yung tinatawag nating LNA. Okay, so tapos na tayo ng kinder to grade 3. Dito naman po tayo sa key stage number 2, which is grades provides opportunities for enhancement and application of learned literacy and numeracy competences in varied content areas. And what students have learned in kindergarten to grade 3, they should be able to apply in grades 4 to 6. Di ba? Yung natutunan dun sa grade kinder to grade 3, dapat ay mai-apply sa grades 4 to 6. So tandaan po natin sa grades 4 to 6, may mga madadagdag na subject area. Yun po ay ang edukasyong, pantahanan at pangkabuhayan or yung EPP. So ang mga description nito na nasa grades 4 to 6, halos katulad rin lang naman po nung nandun sa mas lalong lumawa. Sabi po natin palaging developmentally appropriate. Kaya habang tumataas ang grado ng mga bata, lalo rin pong tumataas ang description at coverage ng mga learning areas na ino-offer at ng mga subject na ino-offer. Maaari nyo pong balikan ang video kong ito para maisa-isahin natin. Kaya binigay ko yung kinder 1 to 3 because that will be used to apply pag nandito na tayo sa grades 4, 5, and 6. So, ang mga learning areas sa grade 4, 5, and 6 ay Filipino, English, 2, Science, 3, then Science, Math, 4, Aral Pan, 5, then Edukasyon, Pantahanan at Pangkabuhayan, 6. Mamaya makikita nyo kung ilang minuto rin ang loading nito. Music, Arts, PE and Health, 7. At saka Edukasyon, Araling Panlipunan, 40 minutes, EPP-TLE 50 minutes, MAPE 40 minutes, ESP 30 minutes. So in a total of 360 minutes or 6 hours every day. Pag nagbasa kasi kayo ng Magna Carta for Public School Teachers, nakalagay po doon na ang public school teacher ay dapat nagtuturo actual teaching ng 6 hours. So paano yung 2 oras na require sa mga government employee? Saan mapupunta? 2 hours can be done both in school and in home. Yun na yung mga tinatawag natin na mga teaching related activities like lesson planning, recording of grades of the school children, and etc. Yan po ay para sa mga nasa public school teachers. So, pwede pa rin po ninyo, yan naman ay minimum. Pwede naman po kayong magdagdag ng mga special curricular programs, homeroom guidance program sa ating pong mga paaralan. Pero syempre, hindi dapat masasakripisyo yung minimum time requirement sa kada learning area na ino-offer na paaralan. Likewise, schools are encouraged to apportion time for arrival, assembly, library work, lunch and recess, remediation, and other related tasks. And of course, to foster love for reading, sabi sa 53, anong nakalagay dyan? You may schedule a 40-minute once a week at the end of the school day for reading and group work. Pwede na sila pong bigyan ng mga reading and group work activity para sa kanilang group projects or individual study time and library time. So the medium of teaching and learning in grades 4 to 6 are Filipino and English. The learning areas taught in these languages are shown in table number 6. So, ano ang mga English na itinuturo sa grades 4 and 5? Science, Math, and English. English talaga ang medium niyan. Pag grade 6, English, Science, Math, Music, Arts, PE, and EPP English na po. Sa Filipino naman, sa 4 and 5, Filipino, Araling Panlipunan, Edukasyon sa Pagpapakatao, Music, Arts, and PE, Filipino yan. Then, pag grade 6, Filipino pa rin ituturo ang Filipino, Araling Panlipunan, at Edukasyon sa Pagpapakatao. So, yun po yung mga medium of instruction na ginagamit sa Filipino at English para sa grades 4, 5, and 6. Then, meron din tayong assessment for grades 4 to 6, katulad din sa kindergarten to grade number 3. Pwede rin kayong magbigay ng formative assessment or yung mga assessment during and between classes, at saka summative assessment naman are done from grades 4 to 6 to improve student learning outcomes. At the end of grade 6, ito meron tayong mga national and international assessment to check if they are meeting key stage standards and evaluate the effectiveness of grades 4 to 6 programs. Kaya po minsan nagrereklamo tayo, bakit ang test ng ating mga estudyante sa English saka sa Mathematics at Science napakalayo, napakababa compared to our neighboring East Asia. Ang tanungan niyan, yung bang mga teacher alam kung ano ang mga tinatakbo, ano ang mga key stages na dapat at nararapat lamang na matutunan ng mga bata sa kada grade level na yan. Baka pati kasi yung mga teacher ay wala ring background at di rin alam kung ano ang mga dapat matutunan at ituro sa mga estudyanteng nasa ganyang grade level. Of elementary education, pag may mga paaralan po tayo na dahil sa kakaunti ang enrollment, ang teacher po ay nag-handle ng iba't ibang grade levels. Halimbawa, yung isang teacher may hawak na grade 1 to grade 3. Ang tawag po natin nun ay multi-grade program, kung saan sa sitwasyon ng DepEd at sa maraming mga paaralan na kung saan kulang ang guro, kulang din ang estudyante, pinagkukumbine ang 2 hanggang 3 mga grade level at doon po pinaghahalo-halo sa isang room under the tutelage of one teacher only. Ang tawag po natin yan ay multi-grade program. Nangyayari po yan karamihan sa mga elementary public schools. Then we also have the homeroom guidance for elementary pupils. Sabi ko nga sa inyo kanina na at least 40 minutes ang allotment upang magkaroon ng pagkakataon na update si teacher para sa mga magulang and vice versa, yung mga magulang makapagbigay ng input kay teacher. Then meron din tayong program for the gifted. Itong mga gifted natin, they are children who are of advanced lesson and learning. They are given also by our department an extra support para ma-enhance palalo yung kanilang gifts or talents. These learners are observed to have exceptional abilities beyond their age. So makikita ang acceleration nila sa mga programs at projects na meron si DepEd at makikita din ang advancement nila sa mga asignaturang science, mathematics, and other learning areas. So kaya si DepEd tinitest kung meron talagang mga estudyanteng may abilidad na lumukso ng grade level, nagkakaroon tayo ng PEPT or yung Philippine Educational Placement Test. Then we also have the special curricular programs. Itong mga special curricular programs naman ito ay ini-offer sa mga elementary and secondary schools para lalong ma-enhance or magkaroon ng focus in one particular program ang isang paaralan. Sa elementary, meron tayong special science elementary school. Ang alam sang central school na meron nito na alam ko yung Goa Central School for example, meron silang special science elementary school offering. At ang program ay naka-focus sa mga additional topics sa science saka mathematics. Then we also have the special program in the arts o yung SPA. Meron naman akong kilala nitong mga schools na kung saan ang kanila pong mga estudyante ay nag-excel in music, in creative writing, media arts, drama, visual music, and dance. So yan naman ang mga mga nasa special program in the arts. Then we also have the special program in sports or yung SPS na nakafocus naman on addressing the needs of talented students in different sports discipline and to identify a pool of athletes who will be trained to compete in national and international sports competitions. So that is the special program in sports. And we also have that special program in journalism, yung ating naman pong mga estudyante may inclination sa campus journalism, pagsusulat ng balita, ng mga balitang pampalakasan, photojournalism, as well as knowing the ethics and ethical standards in broadcast and print media. Meron din tayo niyan na special program in journalism. At may mga high school tayo na identified offering for this special program in journalism. And of course, meron ng mga co-curricular activities in elementary like the Supreme Pupil Government. Kaya nagkakaroon po ng eleksyon sa mga paaralan at kahit pa sila ay mga mga elementary, mayroon na silang inclination sa politics, how to do campaign, how to do room-to-room campaign, how to have their platforms discuss in front of their classmates. So nandun po yan sa co-curricular activities ng government. Then we also have the special education program or yung mga children with special needs, they are provided with special education that are needed by these learners with disabilities. So meron tayong mga schools na though they are regular high school and elementary schools and yet they are offering special education to cater the needs of children with special needs or with health and medical needs. That's the special education program na kung saan ay ini-incorporate natin yung ating pong mga estudyanteng may special needs sa regular na classroom kasi naniniwala tayo na sila rin ay nangangailangan ng mga ganong support, appropriate and sufficient learning support that will ensure that learners with disabilities will be able to help and to learn in the ways that they learn best. And to ensure this, the K-12 curriculum, the curriculum contextualization and adaptation, as well as modifications are made available so that learners with special needs would be able to do more as children with this kind of needs. And of course, the flexible learning options, meron din pong mga ibinibigay na flexible learning options sa ating pong mga mag-aaral kung saan nahihirapan silang pumasok dahil sa kalagayang pinansyal, kalagayang pisikal, o di kaya naman ay kalagayang geographical. Ngayon nga sa panahon ng pandemya, our flexible option is still there where students can still learn even in the midst of this pandemic, and that education still serve to our learners whatever modality that they are looking for, whether it be in the modular, whether it be in the modular, in the online class, or in TV and radio broadcast, still education is available and still education is there to support our learners find and have the better understanding of the education and the subjects that they are taking in their grade level. So much for that. By next meeting, we are going to discuss the secondary education of the Republic of the Philippines, which is many of those who are taking special or professional teaching certificate are inclined because most of them are or with the license under the secondary education program if they pass the licensure examination for teacher. That's all for today. A blessed day, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.